so fine. Ooh, don't know what I'm gonna do around them Zetas, Thetas, Chios, and little fine views. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. My sorority girl. My sorority girl.
Hey y'all, it's Dorothy from preppingyourstep.com. Today I have the part 2 of my last video, which was sorority recruitment tips, the do's, and now I have the don'ts. So if you haven't seen my sorority recruitment advice video, what to do during recruitment, definitely check that out after watching this. You don't necessarily have to watch it in a specific order, but I'm going to jump into it because the last video I talked a lot and I want to make sure that y'all are as informed as possible. So tip number 1 is to not stress and don't be too nervous. I know that's hard to hear, especially because there are always going to be nerves associated with recruitment, but in all honesty, it's supposed to be fun and everyone's just as nervous as you are, so don't worry about it. I remember going through and being really nervous and coming back each night thinking, oh, what did so-and-so think of me? Like, did I do this wrong? Did I do this right? It's over. Don't worry about it. Find productive ways to relieve your stress during the process. Go get food with friends. Do all sorts of things, but don't keep thinking about it because there's no reason to stress or be nervous over it because in the end, it'll all work out just fine. Tip number 2, don't talk about other houses during rounds. There's no reason for you to talk to a sorority about your experience with another house. That's just kind of conflicting interests. So try to keep talking about the house you're in and yourself and those sort of things because there's no reason to really bring other houses into the equation. And it's probably best for each house not to know what other houses you've been to. So just keep that out of the conversation. Tip number 3, don't go in with a closed mind. This is kind of something I did. I remember always hearing, have an open mind during the process, and it was so hard because we had delayed recruitment. And if you want to hear a little bit more about my recruitment experience, I have a video all on that, and I talked about it a little in the do version of this video. So definitely watch that to hear about my school experience, my sorority, etc., etc. But going in with a closed mind can be really hard because your heart's already set on one, and it'll just be that much harder if you do get dropped from that house. Fortunately, I got the house I wanted and everything turned out great. I love my sorority, but I know I would have been really upset and it would have been hard to be excited on bid day had I opened a bid for another sorority. So try to go in with an open mind and know that whatever the outcome, it really is what's going to be best for you in the long run. I remember being skeptical of that, but so many of my friends joined houses that they didn't necessarily think they were going to, and it's been the perfect fit and they love it. And now they can't imagine themselves in any other house. So try not to have a closed mind. It's okay to play favorites, but try to have a broad range of those favorites so that if one does get dropped, then you don't have all your eggs in one basket. Tip number 4, avoid touchy topics. So I already said don't talk about other houses during rounds, but we heard from our Pi Chis or our recruitment group leaders to talk about the 3 B's. What was it? Oh, Barack, boys, and the Bible. Those were technically supposed to be left out of conversations. I never felt like I was going to be talking about those to begin with, and I never got to the point where I was talking about those and needed to get out of it. So you probably won't have to worry about that, but it's probably smart to stay away from those 3 B's, mainly meaning politics, boys, and religion. So stay clear of those and you'll be fine. Number 6, another thing not to talk about. Don't talk about partying. It's college, there are parties. I don't know when your recruitment is going to happen, but you may have gone to some and seen some other girls there, or maybe you haven't. It doesn't really matter. I don't think you should really talk about partying or what fraternity houses the girl you're talking to really likes to go to on the weekends. It's just not necessary. It's kind of bringing boys into it. So just keep partying out of the equation. You don't want the girl to get the wrong reputation of you by bringing it up. Just keep it out of conversation. Again, in my year going through recruitment and my year recruiting, I've never had to worry about that. So don't overthink that one. Number 7, which is my last tip, is to not take things too personally. This can be really hard, especially because at Furman, where I go, we had delayed recruitment, and I got to know a ton of girls in Kappa Delta, the sorority I'm a part of, that were older, and they had become really great friends with me. So had I been dropped, it would have been really hard not to take things too personally, but just know that by a sorority dropping you, it's not because they didn't like you, it's because they may think that you are better suited for another house. So they're just really helping you to find where you'll fit in best later on. So try not to take it too personally, as hard as it can be, and instead just take it as an opportunity to try out new houses and go into other rounds of recruitment with a much more open mind. So those are my don'ts, which ended up being a lot shorter than the do's. So if you haven't seen that video, I will link it below. I mentioned earlier, I have a video that I filmed right after recruitment explaining my experience and more in detail about each round and what I did and what we talked about, and a little taste of how excited I was after I got my bid from Kappa Delta. So that's also going to be linked below. I also have a blog post with all of these tips together if you want to see them all in one place, and if you're maybe not an auditory learner, seeing them visually can be super helpful. So I hope y'all enjoy, and as always, leave video requests below, and I will talk to y'all later. Bye!